We also talked about units. This project window is going to get very lengthy, and I'm going to go ahead and pop over to one of my other teams. It's an older archived class from way back when. So you can see that this unit project didn't exist on this class, so everything just had to kind of go in order. As a matter of fact, at this point when this course was created, you didn't even have the ability to drag and drop. That's a very new feature, and it's great. So reordering, let's say I just want new projects up top, or if I want to organize it by units, so I've got some stuff here on 2D arrays was one of the most recent topics because this was an AP Comp Sci A class. So we can hit this plus sign right here and it says create a unit. So I'm going to make a unit for 2D arrays. And then I create that unit and it kind of just appears as like way down at the bottom, but it's like a block. And now I can take this thing and I can drag it way down there. Come on. There we go. You get real close to the edge, it'll automatically start scrolling. Just don't let go until you get there. And now that's part of that unit. The other way to do that, since this list is extremely lengthy, I can come in here and I can say edit project. Oh, they took that out. Never mind. You drag and drop. Yeah. So we drag all those to the units. And then that'll show up like that. The other thing I wanted to show you in this video, I know it's getting kind of long already, but the last thing I want to show you is once you have multiple projects and you have kids in your class, this projects overview and how to view their work. So once the kids are in class and have turned stuff in, you'll want to be able to see the stuff that they turned in. So we're going to go to this writing your first program here, and you can see that once a submission is in, it'll tell you how many have started it and how many have submitted it. So it's a very quick glance. You can see if I know I had 32 kids in this class, not very many of them started it, and even fewer of them submitted it. Just for your information, if you're looking at these numbers and they're a little skewed, the REPL was a bonus activity for our AP Comp Sci class. It was like an extra practice. It wasn't the actual class. That's why we have so few. Anyway, so if I click on View Submissions, it shows me who the author was, what day they started, what day they submitted it, and then the last review, that's my work. I'm the reviewer. So you can see I have not reviewed these because, again, this was not a graded classroom. This was a supplemental practice. But let's take a look at Mr. Floyd, a recent graduate. And I can click on View his REPL. And it's going to bring up his code. And is updating because, again, he was created in an old REPL. So you shouldn't do this with your new kids. You shouldn't get that little part. It should just bump you straight to their code. Unfortunately, I don't have a new classroom that was created on the new infrastructure to show you. All right, if this takes much longer, I'm going to start singing to you. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause this video so it doesn't take any while it does this. All right, we're back. It finally finished upgrading. So that really only took a couple of minutes, but you see now that I'm looking at something very similar to what it looked like when I created it. You can type in here, and when you type in here, it's actually going to show up in the student's code. So be careful. You can leave comments in there, and then it won't affect their code output or their ability to run. Now this is Java and not Python, so let me make that a Java code instead of a Python code. But you see the submission data here. It'll tell you exactly what time that they submitted it, and then I can grade it here. I can put their grade in the comment, and that's what I usually did over here. Is I'd put you got 85% of the objectives, and then I might tell them what they missed. You did not complete requirement 4. So I provide them with that grading concept or grading feedback directly in their program, and then I can hit mark as reviewed, and it goes to completed and not to me anymore. If they submitted more than one time, you'll have some drop downs that'll tell you how many submissions they have, but it also allows you to do like a speed grader, kind of like you would do in Canvas. You can switch between all of your students without having to go back to that main menu, and you can see the ones that are dark are the ones that turned it in, and the ones that are grayed out are the ones that did not submit. So it runs very similar to the speed grader in Canvas, and you can do that right away. You can see their console output and actually run their program and their console output, so it's really easy to test right here. Switch over, mark as reviewed, and go to the next one, run it, mark, go to the next one. So it's a wonderful grading program that never makes you leave this little window right here. And again, you provide your feedback directly to them in their program. All right, so that is how you see that. Another very handy tool. And the last one we're going to cover before this video turns into a 30-minute monstrosity. By the way, you can speed this video up when you watch it because I'm talking kind of slow, so speed it up to about 1.5. You'll be just fine. Skip over the things you're familiar with and you don't need to as well. When you're in your classroom, the last thing we're going to see is this projects overview. Not very useful when you don't have any people or don't have any projects. So again, this is an archived course, and it's not going to show up correctly with everything because these are old things, but it'll give you the general layout. When you click on the projects overview, it's going to show you kind of a gradebook screen. It's going to show you all of your students, and then across the top, it's going to show you all of your work. If you had any integrated test cases, it's going to tell you how many test cases there were for that assignment. And then in here, everything in here is going to be not started again because this was an old class under the old REPL, so it's not recognizing their work. You can see it's spinning. It's trying very, very hard to load old students into a new system. But what you're really looking for is the check mark for completed or the hourglass that says waiting for review. If you see an hourglass in that block, that means the kid has submitted it and is waiting on you to do your work and review. If they've started it but have not submitted it for grading yet, it's going to show up with this little clock. And then when you first publish it, you should just get a wall of eyeballs. But again, as soon as they start turning it in, you get the clock and then you'll get the hourglass. The hourglass means it's ready for you. When you're done with review and you've marked it for review, the completed is going to show up. All right, so that is the end of this video.